Coming up on Mountain News this morning, 4 people were taken to the hospital after a barrel exploded at a dairy plant. And state police need help identifying a man who was involved in a Perry County armed robbery.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning. I'm Amelia Lee here with you on this Thursday, September 25th. It's 5:31 this morning and time for a check of our weather with meteorologist Megan Dusmal. And it's getting a little more chilly than usual. I'm going to be so honest though, after my trip I've just been sleeping as soon as I get home, so I don't even know what the temperatures are like in the afternoon.
Yeah, I'm kind of that way. I'm not sleeping, but I am inside by the time the afternoon even starts. So I almost never know what my forecast is actually doing by the time it hits the afternoon. But it has been a little bit of a rainy couple of days, and we've seen those relatively cooler temperatures than what we saw the past 2 weeks in those 80s. So there's a little bit of some good news. But here's a look at that live pinpoint Doppler radar. Heavy rain for our far western counties. It'll continue to track to the east over the next couple hours, and then we'll see some scattered showers and storms forming behind that line. Temperatures right now definitely on the warm side, 60s and 70s this afternoon, mid to upper 70s. Technically still warm for this time of year, as we should hit that 76-degree mark, but we are inching closer to average temperatures as we're going through the next couple days. There's the good news. But speaking of today, we're going to see rain chances on and off throughout the day. High temperatures around that 4 o'clock time frame. And again, that will be the mid to upper 70s. Amelia.
A woman is in the hospital and her son is in jail after a violent series of events at a southern Kentucky home. Sheriff's deputies in Laurel County say a mother was shot by her son, who then proceeded to assault others in the home. The violence broke out on Guy Green Road south of London. WYMT's Phil Pendleton spoke to investigators about this situation.
Deputies were called to Guy Green Road just after 9 o'clock Wednesday morning. A man had shot his mother, left, but then came back.
So whenever our first deputy arrived on the scene, he was on the front porch with an arm's length of the weapon that he had used in the shooting.
Deputies say as many as 5 shots were fired inside the home by Bev Dwayne Begley. His mother had been shot once in the arm. It
was a mother and son disagreement of some sort, and the son fired numerous shots from a 9mm pistol.
At one time, the shooter was only considered a person of interest, but then once deputies did their initial investigation, they knew that they had enough to charge him with attempted murder as well as numerous other offenses. Begley remains in the Laurel County Correctional Center. His mother was taken to a local hospital, then transferred to UK Med Center.
There were 2 other individuals in the residence that he struck in the head with the butt of the pistol, and he caused severe injuries to them.
A total of 3 people were hurt. Police say it's not clear what caused the disagreement between Begley and his mother. In Laurel County, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
Social services were also called because a 4-year-old child was sleeping in the back bedroom during the shooting. Also in Laurel County, 4 people were taken to a hospital after a barrel exploded at a dairy plant. First responders rushed to Borden Dairy just after 7 yesterday morning. The 4 who were hurt faced a number of different issues, including chemical burns, and family members say one person had a broken leg. There was also the concern of firefighters entering that zone.
When you heard that immediately, the explosion, and especially at facilities like these, you think the worst. So I commend the people that was here, like I say, evacuating out of the structure as quick as possible. They knew that they assisted us with the information that we needed, with the chemical name and what we can do to safely act going forward.
The explosion did not cause major operations to cease, and the plant appeared to continue functioning for most of that day. One man is dead after a crash in Floyd County. State police say the crash happened Tuesday near Kentucky Route 404 in the David area. Troopers say Steven Starnes' vehicle went off the road before going over an embankment. He was pronounced dead at the scene by the Floyd County Coroner's Office. In Martin County, a woman is behind bars after police say she tried to steal copper. It happened Tuesday when police were called to the North Work Creek Road area. Deputies say when they arrived, they discovered Cassandra Hamilton had stripped nearly 4 feet of copper from a telephone line and had hidden it in the weeds. She was charged with criminal mischief and trespassing of key infrastructure assets. State police need help identifying a man who was involved in a Perry County armed robbery. This incident happened Tuesday just before 11 on Upper 2nd Creek Road. Troopers say the suspect approached an elderly man with a stick and started beating him while demanding his wallet.
If people see or know of his whereabouts, we would urge you not to approach, but later just call us and give us the information.
After getting the victim's wallet, the suspect left the scene in a maroon Chevrolet passenger car. And if you have any information, you're asked to call State Police Post in Hazard at 606-435-6069. An Irvine man who was sentenced to more than 24 years in prison for trying to persuade a minor to engage in unlawful sexual activity online. According to court documents, Stephen Randall Neal messaged the victim through Facebook Messenger. On multiple occasions, Neal communicated with the victim online in an attempt to get them to send sexually explicit images and to engage in the activity. Neal admitted he engaged in hands-on sexual abuse of the victim on 2 occasions. In Perry County, one woman was arrested after she was accused of firing a weapon toward authorities. The sheriff says it happened when a deputy was assisting the DEA, along with other agencies, serve an arrest warrant in the Scuddy area. Police say the woman was taken into custody. Her name has not been released. No one was hurt during this incident. While some folks were enjoying the Black Gold Festival, others woke up during the weekend to find a bicycle stolen. I spoke with Hazard Police about the recent theft and how one officer responded to the crime with a good deed. Video footage shows the moment the person walked onto this porch on Broadway Street. They're seen wearing a hoodie and taking the bike.
It's one thing to steal, but to deliberately steal from a child is, you know, it draws the public's interest in wanting to put that person to hold that person responsible.
Patrolman Sean Cottle with the Hazard Police Department felt called to replace the bike for the family.
That's how I want our officers to treat the public. And obviously we can't replace everything that's ever been stolen from the police department, but the compassion that he showed for that family and to take money out of his own pocket to replace a bicycle, to make those kids happy, I mean, that goes above and beyond.
Police Chief Zach Miller says the original bike was found shortly after the department made a Facebook post about the theft. The family now has 2 bikes instead of just 1. Miller says he is thankful for Walmart for helping to get the family a new bike and for his officers who continually go above and beyond for families in Hazard. At this point, police are still looking for the person in the video. If you do have any information, you're asked to call the Hazard Police Department. One Laurel County man was sentenced to more than 6 years in prison for drug trafficking. According to his plea agreement, Edward Albert Ernsting was found passed out in his vehicle at a gas station last year. That's when police recovered roughly 16 grams of a substance containing fluorofentanyl, fentanyl, and heroin, along with 14 grams of meth. Ernsting admitted to significant heroin and fentanyl trafficking activity for a year or more prior to his arrest. In Letcher County, a man has pleaded guilty in connection with a double murder. The Commonwealth Attorney says Lawrence Eugene Halcomb entered a guilty plea to the murders of Vanessa Halcomb and her unborn infant. Along with other charges, Halcomb will be sentenced at a later date. Under the plea agreement, he would serve 50 years in prison. Well, this week is Child Passenger Safety Week, and officers throughout the mountains are working to make sure you and your child are prepared while on the roads. According to Kentucky State Police, 95% of child safety seats in Kentucky are incorrectly installed. Trooper Matt Gayhart explains why it's so important to install yours properly.
When children are not restrained properly, their chance of injury go up dramatically when they're involved in a collision. So it's important that we do that, and we also have several safety techs here at Kentucky State Police Post 13, as well as the health department we work in conjunction with.
Gayhart says it's also important to make sure your child is properly secured into their car seat and that they're using the right car seat for their weight and age. The Kentucky Department of Education recognized schools and school districts for best practices at the 2025 Continuous Improvement Summit, and a few of our schools made it in the cut. The Corbin School of Innovation with Corbin Independent received recognition, as well as the Whitley County for their grade level roundtable discussions. Well, the Kentucky Department of Education is awarding a contract to the College Board to administer the SAT starting in the spring of 2026. KDE says the digitally formatted tests could save the state more than $350,000 a year, but there are some differences between the SAT test and the ACT. The SAT relies more on critical thinking versus the ACT, which focuses on certain curriculum. Both the reading and writing section and the math section are divided into 2 equal timed parts. Well, with the lack of rain we've seen this summer, farmers are feeling the effects on their crops. One business owner says they're at the end of their growing season, so it really doesn't have an impact now. She says during the growing season, the dry weather not only impacted their growing, but also the wildlife and pollinators in the area. During a growing season without rain, she says they use irrigation systems to provide water to their crops, but the rain now is just making a mess.
Overall, it's kind of just made a muddy mess in the field, so the tractor's definitely going to get hung up a little bit. But overall, I would have loved to have seen this kind of rain kind of earlier in the season or mid-season, just to carry us over.
To be able to grow pumpkins for the fall season, Sounders says they had to make sure their vines were getting enough water so the vines were able to focus on producing pumpkins rather than focusing on getting enough water. Are you a high school senior in Eastern Kentucky? Well, if you are, listen up. The deadline to apply for a WYMT Food City Mountain Classic Scholarship is tomorrow. Remember, all applications must be submitted by your school's guidance counselor. For more information about scholarship requirements and to download an application, visit our website, WYMT.com. Now 5:42, Alphaba and Glinda are back to cast another spell on moviegoers. That and more in today's Ion Entertainment Report.
And heavy rain continues this morning and throughout the day.